going to be showing you the standard method to cast beams on WisDOT projects using AASHTO T23. There's two methods to casting beams, and the big difference is the consolidation of the beams. The beams are either consolidated by using a vibrator or by using rodding. Now, when you're deciding which method to use, the big cutoff point is a slump value. If the slump is less than 1 inch, you have to use the vibrating method. If it's greater than 1 inch, you can use either. Although in most cases, we recommend using vibration for all slumps. Okay, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and cast a beam. This is a beam on the side here that is made out of metal, and we're going to use that one first. Now, when you're doing the rodding method, the first thing you have to know is you have to know the surface area of your beam. It's as simple as measuring the width, the length, multiplying them together to come up with your area. Then there's the number of roddings to be determined is 1 rodding for every 2 square inches of surface area. So you basically just got to take your surface area in square inches and divide it by 2. In our case, this is 6 inches by 21 inches, which is 126 total square inches, divided by 2 is 63 total roddings. So let's go ahead and get started. You got to realize that this sample was collected using the normal methods and it's been pre-mixed. So we're just going to go ahead and put it together into the mold. The other thing you have to understand when you're rodding is that you have to put it in 2 approximately equal lifts. So there's the first lift. Always remember to use the hemispherical end of the rod. After you're done with the last rodding and rodding the first lift, you need to tap the sides lightly with your rubber hammer 10 times. You also need to use some sort of a tool to spade the sides and ends. This is to remove any air pockets and hopefully all the dimples from your rodding procedure. Now we will add the second lift. Again, there's 63 rods on this lift also. You can also use then a steel trowel to get a little better finish. That's how to cast a beam using the rotting method. We'll now cast this beam using the vibration method. In this case, you only need one lift. The vibrator shall be inserted along a straight line down the center of the length of the beam, and the insertions should be no more than 6 inches apart. I like to put in a minimum of 4 insertions, and depending on the slump, you might want to do more. A good thing to look at is the influence on the surface of the concrete that the vibrator is having to tell you how long to vibrate and how close together, but no farther than 6 inches apart. And you should not have to vibrate longer than 10 seconds per insertion. Also, pull the vibrator out slow, as you could see me doing there, to try to eliminate any holes or gaps left from the vibrator. Again, you want to tap the sides of the mold with the hammer smartly. But in this case, you don't need to spade. You can go directly to screeding off the top of the material. After you've cast your beams, hopefully you've done it close to where you're going to store them for the initial curing. If not, immediately move them to that location. There's several ways for initial curing, but the one that makes the most sense to most people is to simply cover them to seal in the moisture with some visqueen type plastic, such as this. And then put wet burlap over the plastic. That keeps moisture available to the beams and the concrete, but it doesn't let the burlap or the moisture directly hit the concrete itself. Then to keep that burlap from drying out, I recommend a second set of visqueen on top. As such, and then to do the job right, have something handy. Maybe you can use extra concrete, maybe you can use some gravel, or you can use 2x4s or whatever to just kind of seal around that. Again, this keeps the moisture from escaping, and you got yourself a couple beams. These should be transported to the lab within 48 hours.